Hey guys, we're live. This is Jeff here with eBay Addicts, and today my special guest is the flipping accountant, Justin. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. You want to introduce yourself to some people that are watching in case they don't know who you are?
Sure. My name is Justin, and I work full time. I am a certified public accountant, or CPA for short, and that's my full time gig. And in my part time, I do Amazon reselling on Amazon, eBay, different side hustles. I sell on Facebook Marketplace. I used to do Airbnb out of my house for about a year. I make T-shirts on Merch by Amazon. Just about anything you can do, legally to make extra money. I've either tried it or have given it a shot.
Hey, well, I'm glad. I'm excited to have you on the show today. I was got a ton of questions of things that I want to ask you today. So I was just like, man, I just feel like we're on the same wavelength and we're going to have a good conversation today. So first thing that I wanted to talk to you about is that can you talk a little bit about your information? Because I believe I saw you on another on OBX Paris channel, and you said that you went to college and you have an MBA degree. Is that correct?
No, I have a master's degree in accounting, and you have to have a certain number of credit hours to be able to sit for the CPA. And sometimes people will go for a master's and we'll get an MBA, Master in Business Administration, but I went for a MAC, which is a master's in accounting. So I have a master's in accounting and I have a bachelor's degree in finance, and I'm certified public accountant. So I enjoy talking about money a little bit. It's kind of one of my hobbies / passions.
Awesome. Yes. So you was correct. You do have a master's degree, but it's not in business. It's in accounting, right?
That's correct, sir. Yeah, I do have a master's in accounting, and honestly, I kind of wish I had gone for the MBA, because the MBA is more of like opens up more categories for you to go into. Like with my Mac, it's more of a accounting focused, but with an MBA, there's so many things you can go into.
Yeah. I was just asking because when I was in college, that was my goal, was to get my MBA degree. But the funny thing was, when I got out of high school, I graduated in like 2002, and my dad was telling me, he was like, Jeff, he was like saying, hey, if you go to college and get your MBA degree, he's like, those guys are making 6 figures a year. Well, conversely, from the time that I graduated high school and enrolled in college, as time went on, like in the city that I was living in at the time, the average starting salary for someone that has an MBA degree went from $100,000 a year to like $50,000 a year over like short period of time, because it's like it's the old thing of supply and demand. Everybody has a degree, and so there's more people to choose from, and then the selection of what it is kind of waters it down a little bit. So I don't know if that's your experience, and I was just kind of curious. Has your degree, your master's degree, has that benefited you in the real world besides your job, like out in the public? Has it been a good investment? Because when you're going to college, not only are you investing money, but you're also investing time, which you could be using that towards other things. So go ahead and elaborate a little bit.
Yeah. So, for me and for what's for what I wanted to do and what I wanted to achieve, my degree has really helped me out. I actually decided to go back and get my master's a few years back, 6-7 years ago. I already had a bachelor's in finance, and I decided I want to get into the accounting field. It wasn't my goal to go for my CPA, but I wanted to get a job in accounting, so I got my degree in accounting, and then I decided to sit for the CPA, and for me, it's really helped. But I've always been kind of analytical. Like, I enjoy looking at numbers and planning and budgets and spreadsheets and all that fun, boring stuff that nobody really likes to do.
Right.
Yeah. So I enjoy that kind of stuff. So that's kind of fun for me. Like, I have spreadsheets where I track, different things like budgets and net worth and projections and, mortgage amortization, that kind of. So I've always been into that kind of stuff. So with an education in accounting, it's helped me with that kind of thing. Plus I've helped other people, kind of like giving them tips on help to improve their credit, how to balance their budgets, how to save money, how to plan for the future, how to save for retirement, stuff like that.
Awesome. Hey guys, we're live with the Flipping Accountant today. So I want to say hi to a few people in the chat. I saw Jennifer is here. I saw Wendy is here today. Louis came to hang out with us. Hey Louis, I hope you had a good weekend. And so we're live. So if you have questions to Justin, he's an accountant. He's also a reseller, and he sells on Amazon. And also, I wanted to ask you some questions. I saw that but you did a little bit of Airbnb too. Can you talk a little bit about that? How did that go?
Yeah, it went pretty well. I enjoyed doing it for a while. Basically, I kind of wanted to get into like house hacking. So I looked into like maybe buying a duplex and like living in one side and then renting out the other. But I didn't really find anything in my area. So I read about doing Airbnb and I said, yeah, I can give that a shot. So I rented out a room in my house for about a year and it went really well. I didn't think it would go well. Like I didn't know if the demand was there. So I read a lot from other blogs and stuff like that, kind of got the ideas of like how to set it up. And it took off. Like I set it up. I set up the room. It's a brand new bed, like a new TV, new everything, you know, and I kept track of all my expenses. And like, I think I spent about 500, 550 on expenses for that room. And I was paid for within a month, which was pretty neat. So I did that for about a year and it went well and I made extra money and just kind of banked it. And it's nice because when you do stuff like that, you can write off additional like expenses like related to, you know, having a house because you have to have cleaning supplies and sheets and, you know, all sorts of different stuff. It's like running a little mini hotel. And it worked out well because like when I wanted to make extra money, I would just put the room up and when I wanted privacy, I'd just turn it off.
Awesome. Yeah, the reason why I bring it up, because I get people send me emails, they read comments on my messages all the time talking about that they're struggling right now and they need to make extra money. So I haven't done Airbnb myself. What I do is kind of a cheat code or a hack is where I live at. I have two roommates, so we split the expenses by 3. So therefore, my rent every month is $350 a month in rent. That includes my water and trash, and then I just pay $130 the electric bill every month. But I'm just bringing it up. Like I had this person to send me an email last week, and they said, "Hey, you know, due to this virus thing, I got laid off. I lost my job. I'm about to be evicted out of my house. I need to make some extra money. What can I do?" And I'm just like, well, I don't have any houses or apartments I can rent you. I'm not a hiring manager. I can just tell you what I do and what works for me. So I just sent them a response because they live in the same city as me. And they were just like saying, I'm struggling. Give me some ideas. What can I do? And I said, okay, well, here's what I do. You know, here's some things that I do. Maybe this might help you out, you know, and that's all you can do. So, but that's the reason why I bring it up, because sometimes people just don't think outside the box. My mom, her and my stepdad, they do Airbnb. They have a nice little place. They live over there in Melbourne in Florida, and they have a nice little place nearby the beach. And they'll rent out a section of their house, and they'll rent out a bedroom, a bathroom, and they'll, you know, share the common areas, the living room and the kitchen. And they make, let's say you make $100 a day, right? And you do it, let's say out of the 30 days they do it 15 days out of 30. Well, that's right there is $1,500 extra a month for somebody who's, you know, on a fixed income or someone that's retired. $1,500 a month, that puts food on the table. That buys groceries. That definitely helps out. So I didn't bring you on today just to talk about Airbnb, but I just thought that it would be a good way if someone was like thinking, man, I'm trying this thing. I'm trying to make sales on eBay. I'm working my full-time job. They're banging their head up against the wall and they're trying to figure out what more they can do to generate extra money. And maybe the extra money might be their extra spare bedroom they got laying around their house. They just never put 2 and 2 together and thought like, hey, I could rent this extra room out through Airbnb and make money. So overall, you had a good experience through Airbnb or no?
Yeah, overall, I had a good experience with it. I made, like I said, I made good money when I rented it out, and then when I wanted privacy, I just turned it off. You know, and the thing is, like, there's a lot of flexibility with it too, because like I have a 3-bedroom house and 2 bathrooms, so like I only rented out 1 room as my Airbnb. I use 1 room as my office, and then I have 1 room as my bedroom. But if I wanted to or needed to, I could turn this into another Airbnb room, and then I would have 2 rooms right next to a bathroom, and then they would have their own like private space and all that. Never had anything stolen. Never had anything, permanent damage to the house. There was minor damage, but that was never intentional. But it was never like, it was never like, oh, I'm never doing this again.
I think when you leave, I think they can rate their visit with you, and can you rate the guest as well and say if the person was a good guest? It's just kind of like eBay where you can leave feedback for the buyers and sellers, correct?
Right. Yeah. So you get to leave feedback for the guests that stayed with you, and then they can also leave feedback for you. But the thing is it's blind until both feedbacks are received, or until I think a month passes. So let's say if you stayed with me like on day one and then you left, and I left you a feedback, I had a good experience, but you didn't like something about it, and you didn't leave a feedback until 2 weeks later. I don't know what you actually said until both feedbacks are posted.
Awesome. Well, I'm sorry if it's annoying to you guys in the chat. It's to me, I like having multiple different streams of income. So if we can bring up ways where someone could generate extra income and they're not having to work extra hours at their job to generate that income, and they can rent out a spare room in their house, to me, that's interesting to me. So, hey guys, we're live with the Flipping Accountant. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop it in the chat and we'll get to it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about your backstory. Before you became a reseller, what got you interested in doing it? Like, how long have you been working as an accountant at your regular day job? And were you like watching YouTube videos one day, or when did you get the aha moment? Like me, I've bought stuff on eBay for a long time, but it took me a long time where I was just like, the light bulb goes off in your brain, and you're like, hey, I could start selling stuff on eBay and have an extra stream of income selling stuff online as opposed to just buying items. So can you talk a little bit about your journey of how you first became a reseller?
Sure. So a lot of it I kind of have to thank or blame on my dad for when I was younger. My dad was always into like buying and reselling stuff, and he had a furniture store when I was younger, and I would help him out at the furniture store. And I would actually like post stuff on eBay for him. So my eBay account that I still use is about 20 years old, which is kind of cool because, you know, I started it with him back in the day, and then I still have it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I worked with him when I was younger, kind of growing up. And then, you know, I went to, it was real important that I go to college and I got my degree, and I did. And apparently I lost Jeff. I'm assuming he'll come back, but I guess I'll just give it a minute here.
Sorry, guys. I'm back. I'm back. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to scare you away.
No, I pressed the wrong button. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So anyways, my dad kind of got me into it when I was younger. I went and got my bachelor's degree in finance. And then after that, I started working for an auction company. And I worked for an auction company. It was kind of think of like an eBay place where you like bet on stuff online, and then when you win, you come to pick it up. So I worked for an auction company for a couple of years, and then after I finished with that, I moved, and I worked in sales for a few years while I was getting my second degree, while I was getting my master's, and then when I graduated, I got a job, and been in the accounting field for about 5 years now.
Awesome. So talk a little bit about how has your sales been this year with everything that's been going on?
You know, honestly, like I've had to pivot a couple times. Like earlier during everything that was happening, my sales kind of went up because I was trying to find stuff that was more in demand. You know, more like I sold a lot of video games, a lot of things that would keep people entertained while they were home and, you know, didn't have much to do. So the past few months, my sales were pretty good. They're starting to slow down a little bit because I am focusing more on getting rid of stuff that I have around my house and my garage. Just because I feel like it's like a never ending battle, just trying to stay caught up. So my sales aren't as high as they were 3 months ago, but my garage is way cleaner. My house is way cleaner. I'm a lot more organized, and I'm getting really geared up for a Q4 that's going to be, you know, kind of starting in just a couple days here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Q4, and I was going to ask you about your trip to the thrift store the other day. Me and you, we hang out at the same live stream. So I saw something the other day. You said you found some items. I think it was like some lotion or some cream or something, and you said you're going to make like $1,000 on that. So can you talk a little bit about that? Was that just blind luck, or did you have some like contacts, backroom access with these people at the thrift store, or what? Tell us the story.
No, it was actually it was partial luck. It was partial just you know, just going to the same places looking for the same stuff. And I went to a local thrift store that I like to go to, and normally I like to buy like movies and CDs and stuff there, like video games, sometimes books. Their books kind of get picked over pretty good, but they do like insane sales when they want to clean stuff out. Like sometimes they'll do like 4 movies for $1, so it's like quarter a piece. That's a good deal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A few weeks back, I actually went in there one day and they had their movies were 10 for $1.
Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram. Yeah, go ahead. You had 3 shopping carts. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, they did 10 for $1, and I was like, okay, done. I just bought everything and I just loaded them up. I was like, I'm not even gonna mess with scanning. It's like I can trade these into a local store and get $0.25 a piece. I'm like, this is a no-brainer. So I just bought all those. That was a few weeks back, but yeah, a couple days ago I went in just to kind of kill time and see what they had for sale on DVDs. And I bought a few DVDs and I asked one of the employees, I said, hey, do you have any more in the back? And she went to look and she came back and she was like, oh, well, here's a couple games, which wasn't much, but she had like a shopping cart and there was a plastic tote full of like lotions and it was all brand new stuff and it all had stickers on it. And I was like, what's this about? And she was like, oh, I'm getting ready to put these out. And I said, yeah, let me take a look at those. It was like just like right time, right place. I was very fortunate. I bought all of them. They were $5 a piece. And after fees, after shipping, after everything, I should net about 1,100 profit on all of those.
Are you going to send them into Amazon or are you going to sell them on eBay?
No, I'm going to sell them on eBay. I already have been selling them on eBay. And that was part of it that I've been pushing myself more and more lately is to like, when I buy something, like get it listed as soon as possible. Cause I don't want stuff to build up. Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah. So all the items that you bought, it was all new, right? The item that you bought. Yep. I'm with you, man. Yeah. See, I went to a pawn shop today. I bought this DVD at the pawn shop, paid $0.25 for it. It's brand new in the shrink wrap. So what people don't realize is you buy something for $0.25 and you can turn around and sell it for 10, 15, 20 bucks. I just sold a DVD today on eBay for 20 bucks and I paid 50 cents for it. So 20 bucks doesn't sound like a lot of money, but if you do that times 10, 15, 20 times a day, then it starts adding up. And your cost of goods is very minimal. So anyways, I don't want to ignore the chat. Louis asked, hey, eBay Addicts, question for Justin. Justin, what is a suggestion that we can afford the seasoned resellers who aren't good at keeping records, that need that kick in the rump? Any other tips to keep resellers more mindful? I believe that he's talking about suggestions with accounting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I've heard good things about like people using like QuickBooks online. Like there's some different apps or programs that you can use that are like inexpensive that can help you keep track of that stuff. Like QuickBooks Online, GoDaddy Bookkeeping, I've heard of that. That's another good one. Personally, I don't use those just because I use so many spreadsheets with my own stuff. I'm just accustomed to it the way I do it. But somebody starting out to help them, keep track of that stuff is like, I would recommend trying to find a program that you can start with that's just inexpensive. 10, 15 bucks a month is really not that much if you're keeping track of everything that you're doing. And you want to keep up on it. Like you want to track your sales and like you're talking about, like your cost of goods sold, you want to keep track of that stuff, because if you sold that movie today for 50 cents, but you don't write it down for a month or whatever, you may have forgot what you paid for it.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. Yeah, I try to get items like this, like DVDs. If I can pick them up like this, they're new in the shrink wrap. If I can pick them up for like 50 cents or less, I'll usually grab them, because then on eBay, all the ones that are doing the shrink wrap like this, I sell them for nothing less than 10 bucks a piece. So you have to understand, like, for example, I won an auction on eBay yesterday. Okay. It came up, there's 80 DVDs like this. It's new in the shrink wrap, okay? And I paid 30 bucks. I won the auction for 30 bucks, okay? And I paid $17 for shipping, okay? So I spent $47 total, and I got 80 DVDs that's like similar to this. It's new in the shrink wrap. So if you do the math in your head, 80 times 10 is 800 bucks. So my cost of goods was $47, which comes to like 57 cents a piece, right? So my cost of goods was $47, and you should be able to turn 47 bucks into $800 after they all sell. And so when your cost of goods, when you're getting items around 50 cents a piece, you can afford to let it sit for a while. If it takes a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. The thing is just getting it listed, because if you go through, if you can list $800 or $1,000 a day worth of merchandise consistently, let's say you do that. Let's say every day I listed $1,000 a day worth of merchandise. Okay, times 30 days in a month. At the end of the month, you listed $30,000 worth of merchandise. It may not sell today, it may not sell tomorrow, but when it does sell, you're getting items like this for a quarter or 50 cents. It's new in the shrink wrap. I don't have to do any cleaning. I don't have to do any testing. I don't have to worry about the disc being scratched up. I have very low customer returns, and it just, it's brand new. It's at the customer's door in 2 or 3 days. The reason why I bring it up, because Justin was talking about selling DVDs and video games and CDs, items like that. And I think sometimes people overlook items, and they walk right by an item, and you're like, okay, this is a no-brainer. They're selling it for a quarter, brand new in the shrink wrap. What's the worst that could happen? You spend a quarter and you've got new inventory to put in your store. And another thing that I was going to say is, I don't know if you guys notice or not, but sometimes you'll get an item and put it in your store, right? And your eBay store, and it may get somebody else's attention, right? So let's say the item that I just bought, let's say this is a video game, okay? Now this person was looking at a video game. They don't buy this exact video game, but it gets their attention and they click and go to your store and see what else you have available for sale. So that's what I was going to say. Yeah. So anyways, so Justin, can you give us some pointers? What is your plans for ramping up for Q4 coming up?
Yeah, so I definitely think that the next couple months are going to be probably one of the busiest that we've seen all year, even considering earlier in the year, sales were way up. Amazon stock is way up. They're going to be super busy. I know eBay is gearing up too. Right now, like I said, right now I'm getting organized. I'm building up, extra inventory on shipping supplies. I'm buying extra bubble mailers, poly mailers, tape, boxes, stickers, warning labels, just everything and anything that I could need in the next couple months. I'm just going to spend the money and buy it right now, because those things don't expire, and as long as I have the space for them, there's no reason not to buy them.
Right. Do you mind talking a little bit about how your sales were on eBay? Because I saw on Instagram, I don't know if it's up to date or not, but I think you were doing like about $5,000 a month in sales on eBay. Is that still accurate? How has that been going?
eBay has been going better for me this month as opposed to the past couple months, because I don't usually focus a lot of my attention there. But I think what you're referring to is probably one of my posts a couple weeks ago, but I think that's a 90-day rolling total. So like in my mind, I think I'm around like 2,000 to 3,000 a month on eBay. Some months are better, some months are worse. Like last month, I had one guy spend like $1,500 with me, kind of like what you were saying. Like he saw one item and then he saw 5 or 6 other items that he wanted to buy and just bought a whole bunch of stuff. So my average was higher last month. But this month, I think I went from like 170 listings up to like 270 right now. So I've been really, really putting a lot of attention on eBay right now.
Awesome. So, how many items do you currently have listed on eBay? And what items do you like to look for when you're outsourcing? I mean, do you have a certain niche? Like me, I like to stick to DVDs, Blu-rays, video games, things like that. That's in my wheelhouse. But If I see something I got a good deal on, I'll grab it. But I'm saying, do you have certain items that you're looking for when you're outsourcing? And how many days a week do you go sourcing? And how many items do you try to list for the computer algorithm on eBay?
Yeah, so kind of like what we were talking about was with that haul I got a few days ago. I think it was last Friday when I listed that stuff. I immediately started having sales, and I think I sold 2 items the same day I listed them. So like I spent 170 or 165 on all of that stuff that I bought, the lotions and a few other things. And but by the next day, I'd already made $150. So I'd already paid for everything, which is pretty cool. So right now, I'm just digging into my death pile and my unlisted inventory. So right now, it's more, in my mind, it's more of just getting rid of stuff and clearing stuff out. But normally, I try to focus more on Amazon, and I try to ship out FBA shipments at like 2 to 3 a week, just so I can keep my inventory up there. So like on eBay, I think I have like 270 items listed right now. On Amazon, I think I have like 2,000 items in their warehouse right now. So I have a lot of inventory distributed there, and I'm trying to build my inventory here as well.
Okay, but what are the items that you're looking for when you're outsourcing? Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate that. So, squirrel. I kind of went off on a tangent there. You know, I used to be really heavy into video games, like playing video games and collecting video games. So I know a lot about video games. So I go for video
Yeah.
games, toys, electronics, movies, kind of like what you're saying too. If a movie is sealed and it's, you know, 50 cents or $1 or whatever, normally I'll just grab them and I don't care. Like I'll research it. I'll deal with it later. But, you know, sometimes those DVDs can be really high value and you don't even know. And sometimes you find them at garage sales or yard sales or estate sales or whatever. And, you know, people haven't seen them or haven't listed them. Like I found one DVD set a few weeks ago at a yard sale and I listed it for $100 and there was no other comps. There was no listings on Amazon or eBay. And it was like a set of like 20 movies. And I listed it, got $100 and I was like, all right, cool. This is definitely worth it, you know?
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I think I sold one DVD for $100 and I paid 50 cents for it. So that's what the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That's why I brought Justin on the show today. The main reason is I noticed that you started a YouTube channel recently, and I went and clicked on the YouTube channel, and it said that you sold like $10,000 in like the past 30 days on your Amazon store. Is that correct?
Last month, my gross sales were a little over 10,000. Yep.
All right, awesome. So so anybody that's watching, guys, if you're already working a full-time job and you want to make extra income, this is the guy you need to talk to right here, Justin. He's got it figured out. So if he can work his full-time job, work his 9 to 5, and then come home and still make an extra $10,000 in sales on Amazon part-time and have an eBay store and a YouTube channel and Airbnb. So this is what we're talking about today. So can you elaborate? Because I'm not on Amazon. I'm considering maybe having an Amazon store next year. Right now, I have 2 eBay stores, so I'm trying to reach my goals with my eBay right now. But maybe next year I want to start into Amazon. But if someone's not on Amazon, can you elaborate a little bit on that? And because how do you go from $0 a month to 10 grand a month on Amazon? Go ahead.
Sure. So I've watched a lot of videos on it, and I still watch videos on it too, even though I've been doing it for a while. But one of the things that I heard that I think is really accurate is like there's the best time to start on Amazon. There's two times would be the best time to start. The first was when it started. You know, like my Amazon account is a few years old, so I'm into certain categories that are harder to get into. So the best time to start would have been at the beginning. The second best time to start is today. Because as time goes on, they continue to put in new restrictions and new gating on new categories. And for anyone that doesn't know, on Amazon, there are certain categories when you start, you can't sell in because they call it a gated category. So let's say, like, if you signed up today, Jeff, to sell on Amazon and you got accepted, you probably wouldn't be able to sell like DVDs or CDs or something like that. Those are things that are considered gated. So it's like you have to have years of sales history, or you have to have a proven track record to get into those type of categories, or certain invoices from distributors. But honestly, like selling on Amazon can just be like selling on eBay. A lot of people don't realize this, but you can sell some used items on Amazon. I sell used electronics on Amazon, and I'll get higher money for something on Amazon than I will on eBay. And most people don't think of like Amazon for like used stuff, but I mean, they think of like Amazon for books and groceries and toys and all that stuff. But there is a used market there too for used books and electronics and some stuff like that, you know, you could get started even with what you have now, Jeff. You might have some electronics or something like that you could actually get started now and start to build a history on Amazon. So it would help you get on gated in categories faster.
Well, I'm not on Amazon, but I've told that if you start as a new seller in Q4, that they won't let you do FBA as a brand new seller during Q4. So my goal is right now, I'm trying to get my car paid off, honestly, because if I get my car paid off, I won't have a full coverage insurance and I won't have a car payment. So that right there would save me about $400 a month. So then I've got extra $400 a month that I could use to go sourcing and then invest into Amazon. And I'm trying to grow, like I said, I have 2 eBay stores, and I'm trying to get my main eBay store up to 10,000 items. Because if I do that, theoretically, I was at, earlier this year, I was at 3,500 items in my eBay store, and I was doing about $750 to $800 a week in sales on one eBay store. But I was mainly selling DVDs, Blu-rays, video games, things like that. So then
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I kind of believe in having a brand when having repeat customers. So I decided to open up a second eBay store to sell other miscellaneous items. So let's say I find a necktie, or let's say I found a pair of tennis shoes, or I don't know, just some other random items that I come across that I want to sell. Then I'm throwing them on my second eBay store, because I'm like, I'm already here at this thrift store or Goodwill or pawn shop. It doesn't make sense to walk by something I know, let's say it's a necktie for 66 cents, and I know I can sell it for 20 bucks. So I decided to open that. But anyways, can you elaborate a little bit more on Amazon? Like, you're not doing wholesaling on Amazon. Can you talk a little bit about the type of items that you sell on Amazon, in case, because I know when people get started, they're saying, well, I'm gated in all these categories. I hear about people making all this money on Amazon. I'm not making squat. How do I go doing that? I'm at zero right now. I have no experience, and I'm trying to get to 10 grand, because I think you've been on Amazon for 2-3 years now. It's been a while, right?
Yes. Yeah. I have been on Amazon for a while, and it's always been a part-time gig for me. I've never done it full-time. And sometimes people ask me why I don't. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but I enjoy my job. I enjoy what I do. You know, I'm happy with where I'm at, and I'm happy with doing this, my side business, as a side business. And I think for right now, I enjoy it more as a side business than it would be as a full-time, because I feel like full-time, you've got more pressures. You put more expectations on yourself. But, to kind of answer your question, so you're starting at zero, you want to get up to like 10 grand a month. So starting at zero, for anyone that's just starting off on Amazon, you can sell stuff, but you have to sell, basically you have to sell what you can, what you're ungated in the beginning. So it's like books, home goods, I think some grocery categories are ungated, some clothing categories are ungated. So it's basically like, if you're a brand new seller, you just kind of have to go in and just like scan everything, and you'll be able to find stuff that you can sell. Now that's a time consuming process, but again, it's like you're starting from nothing, and you kind of have to work your way up.
Okay.
So it's very possible people do it every day. Amazon is just an amazing, huge marketplace. I mean, there are some negatives that go along with it too, but it's like anything else. You put in the work, you put in the time and energy, and you learn what you can sell. And then over time, as you have good metrics, basically like you ship stuff on time, you get good feedback, and you establish a good track record, then you can start to sell more stuff on Amazon, and the categories will start to ungate for you.
Right. Well, also, I was told that if you're outsourcing, let's say you're doing retail arbitrage, I was told that you can apply instantly to see if you can get ungated in certain categories. And also you could buy items wholesale, even if you're breaking even or not making money. The key is you're buying items wholesale to get ungated in certain categories. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are certain categories that no matter how long how long your track record is, they pretty much will not ungate you unless you have a invoice from a certified distributor. So let's talk about toys for a second. So toys generally is a gated category. There are certain brands within toys that no matter what you do, you generally won't get ungated in unless you have an invoice. Now, I'll give you just kind of give you some free information. A lot of people know this. There's a lot of good information on YouTube for ungating. But if you want to use a company to get ungated for toys or certain brands like Mattel or Barbie, stuff like that, you can look up a company called EE Distribution. The retail side of their website is called Entertainment Earth. I don't know if you've heard that name before at all.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. So that's their retail side, but their wholesale distribution side is called EE Distribution. It's free to sign up. It's a nice company. They work with you. You talk to a sales rep. You tell them what you're trying to do, and they're like, hey, we work with thousands of Amazon sellers. We'll start sending you lists of stuff that we think you can make money on. And it's kind of an interesting website, but in my experience, there's not a whole lot of margin there. So like if they have Star Wars toys or whatever, if I bought a bunch of Star Wars toys, I'm not going to make any money on Amazon, but I'm just using it to ungate those categories.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
We're on the same page, because I was going to say there's some items, let's say, for example, Legos. Let's say Nike, for example. Let's say you want to sell Nike shoes. The idea is just to get ungated, because it's like once you get ungated in that category, then if let's say if I'm at the Nike outlet and I see a pair of shoes brand new for 20 bucks, and let's say they sell on Amazon for 80 bucks, 75 bucks, you can walk in and buy them. For example, I saw Reezy the other day. He went and spent, I don't know, I think he spent like $3,000 of the Nike outlet, and he made like $1,500 profit in like 4 hours. But the only way he was able to do that was because he was ungated in Nike. If he was still gated, he could have been there all day scanning items and it wouldn't have made any difference. So I want to get to some questions in the chat. Lone Star Picker said, question for Justin: what is your future goals? Where do you see yourself with respect to reselling and growth, and goals to be productive and eventually sell and gross income aims? So like, what is your goal let's say next year for 2021 or in the future?
Yeah, so the next couple months are going to be super busy, in my opinion. Just people are not out shopping like they were in store. I think Black Friday is going to be big. I think the next couple months are going to be huge for toys and stuff like that. So, next year, as far as reselling and growth, I'd like to. I'd like to expand my operation a little bit. I've been thinking about maybe hiring somebody to help me with prepping and like shipping stuff out, because, I can spend hours finding stuff, and I would rather have somebody here paying them like $10 an hour to like prep stuff and ship it out, because my time is more valuable either doing, finding stuff or buying stuff or negotiating deals, kind of like the thrift store, like we were talking about, like building relationships, because nobody called me when they got all those lotions, but if I had someone there that would call me, then that would be worth it. Like I have contacts at other thrift stores that will save stuff for me, or they'll let me go in the back and pick through stuff before it comes out, and that's just because of those kind of relationships that I've built.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't mean that we were talking over each other. I was going to ask you some questions because people don't understand. Amazon's a little bit different than eBay. So when you buy an item and you're going to go, let's say I want to send in a shipment to Amazon. I want to do Amazon FBA. Can you elaborate a little bit on what kind of processes do you have to do? Because I was told this stuff has to go in like plastic little bags, like clear bags. I was told you have to put like certain stickers on them. You can't, it's not like, I can't just, let's say I was selling this, I can't just ship it in as is. I was told you're supposed to put a sticker over the barcode. You're supposed to like put it in like a clear plastic bag. Like, what's the process of shipping something? And you have to scan it in to them to let them know what you're shipping. So can you elaborate? Because let's say I'm on eBay right now. I'm considering starting Amazon, but I just don't know how to go. How do I go from getting the items to my house to the Amazon warehouse? Can you go ahead and talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. It seems kind of daunting at first, just because kind of like what you're talking about, like that seems very overwhelming, like all of that stuff. Once you've done it a few times and you kind of get through your first shipment, some of the anxiety will kind of come down, because certain items require extra steps to prep and to get ready, but not every item requires that same level of prep or commitment. So just to kind of give you an example, and I just happen to have this right here. But here's a bottle of vitamins from GNC, and this is a gated category, but I can sell this kind of stuff. Some people will go overboard, and some people will like put this into a poly bag, and that's a clear bag that you're talking about, and they'll do that for extra protection. But technically speaking, I don't have to. Amazon will tell you while you're prepping stuff, it'll tell you what each item requires. So like if it's like a movie or a video game or something like that, technically, according to Amazon's policy, you don't have to do anything as far as polybagging those. But some people will do the extra work just to give the items protection while they're in Amazon's warehouse. So just kind of like the basic steps is like, I will list stuff, and basically there's a couple ways you can list stuff. You can scan the barcode on your phone using the Amazon Seller app. You can do it on the computer. You could type in the UPC, or you could scan it into your computer, or you can use an app or a program like Inventory Labs to log it into your computer. So basically all I do is I scan these in and I say, Amazon, I've got 10 of these I want to send to you. They're going to say, okay, well, you need to prep it. Well, like I said, you don't have to do anything with this really. I will have to print a sticker on here and put an Amazon barcode into it. And basically what that says to them is like, Justin sent us 10 of these. So I'll prep it. I'll put a sticker on it. If it's required, some things like this will require a sticker on the expiration date, but obviously not everything requires that. So that's part of the prep process. You print off the stickers, you stick it into a box, you say, hey, it's this big, this is how many items, and you ship it off. It's once you get through it a couple times, it's really not too bad.
Okay. And so also I was told some items you could send it to a prep center, or you can get Amazon to put the stickers and prep the work for you. Is that a possibility with some of the items going in Amazon as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can actually choose who preps the item. So like for clothing, last time I used it, I think it was $1 per item. And for clothing, they want stuff like in a bag in a certain way with a sticker and all that. Personally, I don't like prepping clothes. I don't like prepping shirts or pants or any of that kind of stuff. So for me, like if I get a lot of clothes, I will just pay Amazon $1 per item to prep it and have them do that whole process, because to me, my time is worth more than that, than having to deal with it because of the frustration of just finding the right bag and getting it set up a certain way. I'm just like, I detest doing clothes, so I will just pay them to prep it. But other stuff like this, if I'm going to pay them 50 cents to put a sticker on this, I will take 2.5 seconds to put a sticker on this and save myself the 50 cents.
Gotcha. So I got loads of questions for you today. So if somebody is new on Amazon, and let's say that how do they go about learning about sales rank and sales rank velocity on items? Because Amazon's a little bit different than eBay. So like if I pull something up, you can look at comps and look at solds and stuff like that on eBay, but on Amazon they have a sales rank. So the higher the lower the number of the sales rank, the better it is, right? So can you elaborate a little bit on sales rank and sales velocity? Go ahead.
Right. So sometimes when people talk about the sales rank, it can get kind of confusing. But basically, think about it is like the smaller the number, generally speaking, the better that the sales rank is. So like talking about these vitamins right here, if this was sales rank, if this was rank number 1, then that means that's like the best selling item. It sells like 10,000 units a day. It sells really quick. If you go up to like 100,000 in this category, then well, maybe it's not such a good item. Maybe it sells a couple times a day. But the thing is like each category has a certain number of items. So like in clothing, like I try to stick with stuff that's under like a couple 100,000, but a couple 100,000 in a smaller category, that could be very different. So for like books and stuff, like my personal guideline for books is like I will stay under 2 million. So if a book has a rank of 2 million, to me that sells like once every couple months or whatever, then I feel comfortable buying it. If I saw a video game with a rank of 2 million, I would stay far away. I would just put the game down and walk away. And I'm like, I'm not messing with that. So like my personal threshold for like video games is like either 10 to 15,000. So if a video game is ranked 10,000 or under, I'm in. If it's higher than that, if it has really good ROI, then I'll do it. Otherwise, I won't touch it. So part of it is like learning the categories that you want to sell in, how big that category is, and that'll keep you, that'll kind of help you understand the numbers that you want to stick with. There are some different guides out there that are free that you can like download. If you Google like Amazon sales rank, there's some charts that kind of make it super easy. So it's like some people will only stay in the top 1% or the top 5%. And because each category has a certain total number of items, that'll help you understand what is a better rank for each category.
Awesome. So now what kind of profit margins are you looking for? Let's say I'm at Walmart and I want to buy something off the clearance section at Walmart, and I want to flip it and I want to go box it up and ship it into Amazon FBA. What kind of profit margins are you looking for? Let's say, for example, let's say there's an item, let's say the item sells for $20 on Amazon. How much can you reasonably pay for that item and still make the profit margin you're looking for?
Right. So that's when the sales rank kind of comes into consideration too. For me, like I look at a many different factors. Like I'll look at sales rank. That tells me how quickly the item sells. I'll look at how many FBA sellers are on the item, because that's going to tell me what my competition is at. I might check and see what the other competition is doing. Somebody may have lowballed the price, but everybody else is up here, but I'm like way down here. So maybe I just want to buy it and sell it up here, and I'll just wait because this person will sell out. So like if it's a $20 item, depending on rank, like if it's a really good rank, like, I mean, $10, sure. If it's a bad rank, then $10 is not worth it. It like the sales rank, that'll also kind of tell you how quickly it sells. Something about sales rank though, is it's not a static number. The number doesn't stay the same. The numbers are always changing. So like right now, this item could be ranked 10,000. 10 seconds from now, this could be like rank 5,000. because somebody just made a sale. So if I saw this item and I was like, oh, the rank is really good, maybe I would buy it. You scanned it 10 minutes later and the rank was like different. You're like, that's not good enough for me. So I like to think that ranks are always fluid. They can always change over time, because when it sells, the rank gets better. And then as it waits, the rank gets worse until it sells again.
Right. And so what let's say, for example, because I had a bearded picker on the show, I don't know, about a month ago, and he was talking about Amazon, and he said his goal was to double up. So he said, when I had him on the show, he said on Amazon, he said, let's say he was going to buy an item for $10 on clearance. He said in order for him to make his profit, he would need to sell it on Amazon for around $30, just so that way Amazon gets their fees. He could turn, he could still make his double up on his profit margin. So that's kind of what I was getting at as far as your profit margins you're looking for on Amazon.
Yeah. So like the easiest way to think about it, like for easy math, is like, think about it in thirds. Like Amazon gets a third, you get a third, and a third is your cost. So like at like bare minimum, I want to, what he's saying is like, you want to at least make, twice your money back. So if I spend 10, I want to at least make that, $10 profit plus my $10, back. That doesn't always happen, because you have returns, you have stuff that gets lost. Amazon can lose stuff in their warehouse. Items can get lost in shipping. Items can be delivered late, and Amazon will ding you for it, or they'll just say it was delivered late by carrier, and then you actually like lose part of that. So there's a lot of upside to selling on Amazon, but there's a lot of downside too. And I don't know if people always give the accurate description or accurate portrayal of all the pros and cons that go along with it.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask my next question. I was going to ask you, can you talk a little bit about Amazon fees? Because people don't realize that you have storage fees, you have shipping fees, sometimes you have prep fees. Then you have, if it's fulfilled by Amazon, that's another fee. So can you talk, let's say, I'm not trying to get into your personal business too much, but let's say you made 10 grand in sales this month on Amazon. Out of that, how much do you think that Amazon takes their fee out of that, right? And then you have cost of goods. How much of that do you think that you made and probably profit out of the 10 grand? Maybe half of it or a third? Like, elaborate.
Sure. And this is, I'm glad you brought this up, because this was something I think I'm going to do for this month. Like, I think I'm going to make another video for this month's sales, because my sales have gone down for this month. Because like I said, like I'm sourcing from my death pile in my garage. Like I'm not out buying stuff, but in my mind, my profit is going to be higher because this is stuff that I've already paid for, and it's just been sitting here for a while. So kind of like the same thing, right? So hypothetically speaking, like if you did 10 grand a month in sales, 10 grand is your gross sales. Figure a third of it goes to Amazon for their fees, your returns, your shipping, your storage fees, your pick and pack fees. They have all these different fees that they just add on. So a third of it goes to Amazon. A third of it is probably your cost, right? Because we're trying to double up on our money. So then you're left with like three grand profit. Just for like, for easy numbers, say like $3,300 profit, and that's, and that would be good if you're doubling up on your money. That's 100% return on investment. That's better than, most of what you're going to get in the stock market. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Better than what you're going to get at the bank. Yeah. Go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. So sometimes like I have to remind myself in those terms too, because if I find something at the store that just has an amazing rank, right, but I'm only going to make 50%. So if I spend $30 and I'm only going to make 15, but if I can sell them before I walk out the door, I'll probably do it, just because the money is just quick, and it's, and I ship them out and I get the money back and I just keep on rolling. So that's why when you're asking me like, is it just like doubling up? Well, sometimes it's doubling up, sometimes it's only 50%, but there's other factors that go into play.
Awesome. Can you talk a little bit about merchant fulfilled on Amazon? If someone wanted to just do a merchant fulfilled, similar to eBay, where you pack and ship it and you ship it off to the customer. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. So I the easiest terms for like merchant fulfilled or FBM is what people usually shorthand it. It's basically just like eBay. You just list an item. When the item sells, you ship it out. It's pretty straightforward. And again, I'll use my vitamins as an example here. Like I could list this merchant fulfilled. I would say Amazon, I have one of these in stock. I'm selling it for $15 with free shipping. When somebody buys it, I get a notification. I print off a shipping label, I stick it in a poly bag and ship it off. Part of that is timing differences. So basically, I know you don't have an eBay, or I'm sorry, you don't have an Amazon account, so you may or may not know this. But what Amazon does is they pay every 2 weeks for most people, and every 2 weeks you have a holding account. Okay, so when an item ships, the money will go into your holding account. So if I'm going to make $10 off this item, if I ship it, when I mark it ship, that $10 goes into my holding account. If I was to send this to FBA, I have to send this to FBA. I have to wait for FBA to process it. I have to wait for it to be active in their system. I have to wait for it to sell. I have to wait for the payment to go through. And then when Amazon ships it, that's when that $10 will go into my holding account. So sometimes it makes more sense in my mind to list stuff FBM because it will sell quicker for me. I will ship it quicker than Amazon because Amazon will have tremendous slowdowns this holiday season, as they have the past couple seasons, and I will get my money back way faster.
Awesome. I got a question in the chat. Small Town Picker says, do you do FBM? Do you do fulfilled by merchant, or do you do FBA? Which one do you do the most? Which one do you prefer?
Yeah, so I do both. I prefer FBA just because I like being hands off with it. Because like I could send in 100 items in 2 boxes, and I only had to ship in 2 boxes. If I do 100 items FBM, I have to ship out 100 separate packages, and that can get very overwhelming very quickly. Which I have done, and which I will continue to do, because as we get closer to Q4, the windows for shipping will get shorter. Amazon will say, if you want everything in before Christmas, it'll have to be in before this date. Well, once that date's off, you have no option but to really do merchant fulfilled, or you're kind of cut off if you want to get stuff to people before Christmas. So I prefer doing FBA. I don't care for doing FBM, but I will do FBM because it is a necessary evil at this point.
All right. So can you talk a little bit about reinvesting your money? Because what I want people to understand is, if you're at zero right now and you want to start Amazon or eBay or whatever platform you're on, you're not going to go from 0 to 10 grand a month without reinvesting some of your profits back in your business. Because they think, I think sometimes people they receive the money from their sale that they made, and they're like, I want to go on a vacation, or I'm going to use this as a down payment to buy a car, or whatever it is. I need a new watch, whatever it is. And then they forget about the part, well, wait a minute, I need to restock my shelves in order to have more merchandise to sell. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. What I think it is it just kind of depends on your goals and what you're trying to do with your business or with your Amazon or eBay. Kind of like what you're talking about was like, you want to pay off your car, right? And eliminate that payment. So that's kind of what your goal is. So I imagine you're probably putting more money towards your payment or your note just to get that paid off. And then maybe you'll switch it up. So for me, for a long time, I just reinvested everything. I wasn't paying myself. I generally don't pay myself anything because, I'm just trying to grow my business. I'm trying to grow my inventory. I've never had to take out any loans for my business, anything like that. I started with 0. Nobody gave me any money for my business. And, now I can do 7, 10, 15 grand a month, and I'm self-funded. Sometimes I'll use my credit cards just to get points, but I pay them off every month. So that's.
So you mean you didn't have some rich Uncle Bob give you some money to say, here you go, here's 10 grand to help you get started on Amazon FBA. You didn't have somebody else, that was like giving you handouts. You just learned, and you made mistakes and learned along the way. You took your money and reinvested it. I just want people to know that it is possible to make 10 grand a month on Amazon or eBay, but the only key thing is reinvesting your money. Now, real quick, we're running out of time here, but while I got you on the show, because people think I make this stuff up, while I got you on the show, talk to me about Amazon merch, selling shirts and selling merchandise on Amazon. Because when I talk about it, people just look at me like I got 3 heads. Like they look at me like I'm crazy. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff made it up. It does not exist. People don't make money on merch by Amazon. It is a farce. Don't look into it. Don't watch videos. Don't check blog. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, all right, I'll stop. Yeah, merch by Amazon is a very real thing, and I've been doing it for a couple years. I used to be more heavily into it. I used to design shirts and stuff like that. And honestly, I haven't made an original shirt or an original design in probably 7-8 months. I just don't. I don't put my energy into it. Some people do it, and some people, do a really good job with it. But The cool thing is, right? So I think I'm in tier 1000. So like what that means is I can have 1,000 total items in my Merch by Amazon store, essentially what it is. I think I've only got like 300 slots filled. So like I have 300 items listed in my store. I still sell stuff every month because some of my designs are good and I still make money and I do nothing. Like I just got a $50 paycheck direct deposit from my Merch by Amazon account and I didn't do anything for it. Like I made a design a year ago and it still sells. I had one design that I came up with an original idea and then it got turned into like like my t-shirt got popular, so people started copying it, and then it got like kind of turned into like a little video game joke thing or whatever. So now people still sell them, but I still sell it every month and I still make like 20-30 bucks off this shirt that I came up with a year ago. But you know, I used to make really good money off that stuff, but I just don't focus on it that much anymore. But when I started it, it was just t-shirts. But the theory was not conspiracy, but the idea was that Amazon we were all like, oh, they're going to do sweatshirts, they're going to do hoodies, they're going to do, you know, phone cases, they're going to do all this stuff. Now it's real. Like now you can make a design, you can put it on a phone case, you can put it on a hoodie, you can put it on a raglan, a baseball t-shirt, all sorts of different t-shirts. I mean, there's so much opportunity and there's so many ways of making extra money. It's like you can learn how to do these things for free. I have absolutely zero designer skills. I am not an artist. I am barely creative at all. Accountants are not supposed to be creative. But I have made some shirts and I've made some money off of it, and I still get residual payments because some of my shirts were good.
Right. So you do the work up front one time, and then after that, if you have an item that sells, it's reoccurring revenue. Somebody else is boxing up the item that your design and shipping it off to the customer for you, and you're basically getting a what is that thing? It's almost like the thing that the songwriters get when they create a radio station hit, and then they get a check in the mailbox every month. So that's see, we're on this. Yeah. Go ahead. So that's your payout that you got. See, so I'm sorry, we could talk for another hour, guys, but we're running up on an hour, and I don't want to keep Justin too long. So look, give me some your top 3 tips, because guys, we talked about Airbnb, we talked about eBay, we talked about Amazon, we talked about Amazon merch, we talked about a ton, and we didn't even talk about your YouTube channel yet. So go ahead to plug your YouTube channel if somebody wants to come check you out, Justin.
Sure. If you want to check out my YouTube channel, it is the same name as my name that's on the screen. It's my Instagram handle. It's the Flipping Accountant. I don't have a ton of videos on there. I'm trying to spend more time making videos, and I'm probably going to do another monthly sales update for this month on Amazon. Plus, I think I'm going to start talking about my eBay stuff too, and try to give some tips on that too, because I had a pretty good month on eBay. It's not always that way, but this is a pretty good month for me. So I'm putting out sourcing videos. I'm doing like how-to videos on how to pull reports and how to do different things for Amazon and eBay. And, you know, I could talk about this stuff all the time, but I don't always know if I'm adding value, but that's what I want to do is I want to kind of give back, because I learned all of this stuff by watching videos, by joining Facebook groups. I never did a paid course. I never did, you know, any kind of like paid education for this stuff. This is all free. And I think there's tons and tons of great free information out there. And there's tons of ways to make extra money. It's just, you got to take the time, the energy to learn how to do these things, and then just put in the effort.
Awesome. So we talked about reinvesting your money in your business. We talked a little bit about creating relationships with suppliers. Give us 2 or 3 tips off the top of your head. If someone is part-time and they wanted to go full-time, or if somebody has a full-time job and they want to generate some extra money part-time, either on eBay or Amazon, give me 2 or 3 of your tips off the top of your head that would help somebody.
Sure. Thanks, Louis, for the comment. Happy to be here. But yeah, so you know, it's just take the time to learn. Everybody starts at zero. It's okay to start posting things and not have them sell very quickly. You have to learn what to look for, and a lot of it is going to be learning what not to look for or what not to do. You know, everybody's got to start somewhere. Nobody is an expert in everything, right? So just pick something you want to learn, find the free information out there, you know, get started and just kind of get your feet wet and just get going. Try to find somebody that you can learn from that you know has your best interests. They're trying to help you. You know, I want to help people get started. I want to help, you know, build other people up. you know, because it's the same reason Amazon will let us be on their platform. It's the same reason they let us sell on there, because nobody can be everywhere all at once. It's not a zero sum game, right? It's not like if you make $50, that's $50 I couldn't have made. You know, it's like, why can't we all make money? Why can't we all kind of help each other, you know, do well? It's not always one person against another. Why can't we all be doing well? There's nothing wrong with that.
Awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to add that if you're struggling with something, if you need help with Amazon or eBay or whatever it is, reach out to somebody. Say, hey, I don't understand. It's funny to me because when you're in college or you're taking a class, you're quick to raise your hand up and say, hey, I'm going to ask the teacher a question. I have a final exam coming up. I don't understand this chapter 2. But in real life, it's like people are too shy to raise their hand and say, hey, I don't understand this. Justin, I'm new. I'm a newbie on Amazon. I'm just getting started. I want to make 10 grand a month, but I just don't know how. So my thing is, it's okay. If you don't know how, you just don't know how. You're not going to just inherit. Like I didn't, you know, when I was 5 years old, I didn't know how to drive a car. I don't know how to ride a bike. You know, I didn't know how to fly an airplane, which I still don't know how to do that. But what I'm saying is just reach out and ask somebody. If you don't know, you don't know. It's okay. So just reach out and say, hey, I have questions. I want to learn about Amazon merch. I want to learn about Amazon FBA. I want to learn about eBay. I want to learn about Airbnb. Just reach out, send them an email, send Instagram. We're here to help you guys out. Anyways, we've been live streaming for an hour. I want to thank you for taking time to hang out with me today. I'm going to drop your link down below if people want to come check you out. And I appreciate everybody in the chat for hanging out, guys. I will see you tomorrow. My guest is the Flippin' Hippos. I'll see you then. Bye.